Today we're talking about Dogma.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Do you have to use the whole can?
Salma Hayek, she's a muse. She's supposed to inspire people. What she did, she inspired me to beat my dick until it didn't talk back.
Beautiful, naked, big-titted women just don't fall out of the sky, you know?
He fixes everything, but apparently the cracked streets in Jersey, those are still not fixable by God's hand. Gibbs doesn't realize that these don't even air.
We don't even hit record. It's all a lie, dude.
That tracks because I don't even try to find this.
I bet you weren't expecting that one, God.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
See, all these movies take place in this small town called Sherman, Illinois, where all the honeys are top shelf, but all the dudes are whiny pussies. Except for Judd Nelson, he was fucking harsh.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Shadwick.
Whose house?
Run's house.
Run's house.
Say what?
My end.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for. Today we're talking about Dogma.
Whose house? Say what? Run's house. Say what? Martin.
One of Kevin Smith's great movies. As you can see, Gibbs back here to join us. And guys, let's just jump straight into it, man, because this one was when we were at the movie theater, guys. So yes. I remember when this one dropped. I remember when we dropped a beer on the actual film print upstairs and fucking ruined it.
Shit.
So our bad, Mr. Kevin Smith. But yeah, so that happened.
He's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, so there was, if you saw it in Chattanooga, Tennessee, odds are there's a chance there's about 3 minutes missing that we had to cut out because there was beer all over it. But, you know. Que sera, you know. So, Leaf, I believe you were tagging along with me in the theater when this incident happened.
I was, yes. I was privy to all of this.
It was probably the cause of it, if we're being honest.
Well, it was upstairs, so he's actually innocent on this one.
Yeah, like I didn't do nothing, dude. Chris is just like, I fucked it up, and I'm like, whatever, just run it. And
whatever, dude. You're distracting. You're down there yelling up like fucking Romeo.
Dude, listen. Like, we watched this together in the theater, and it was half of it. Yes.
Before brain wrapped and fucked it up. Yeah.
Before it got completely destroyed, we watched it, and then even after that, like, after it was fixed,
right.
like, you know, we were in and out of the theater because we're big Kevin Smith fans. We were sort of like, I don't know what our first official Kevin Smith movie was back
I think it
then.
was Mallrats. I think. Yeah,
Mallrats was for me for sure.
Yeah.
So when this one came out, we were like, dude, like Kevin Smith's got a new movie.
Mallrats,
like
dude. Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob were in it. Like, that's all we needed to know. So we were down.
But you know what's crazy? Like, we love Mallrats, and that was our introduction to Kevin Smith. But that was so not well received.
Yeah.
He said that he felt pressured to do like Chasing Amy. Like he changed Chasing Amy. The original script had the characters younger, like high school age, but he had to like evolve them a little bit, make them a little older to make it a little more serious because Mallrats just got shit on.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but I mean, also it's critics, so they can kiss my whole asshole.
It is. That's why it was an underground success after the fact, because everybody was just like, "Wait a minute, this movie's actually insanely good," and it's my personal favorite Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah,
like,
I think
it's.
I think that if you polled Kevin Smith fans, like I would say 75% would say Mallrats is the favorite.
Yeah. It was
a very close second is going to be Dogma for me.
Yeah. So, Shadwick, where do you first? Did you see this in theaters, or was this HBO?
No, I think I did see this one in theaters. I don't remember it specifically, but I was such a huge fan after Mallrats and Chasing Amy that I'm sure I went to theaters to see this one.
Gibbs, do you were across the way. You weren't quite working at Winsaw when this came out, so you weren't with us. Where did you see this? Were you theater?
I waited until DVD. I was a huge fan of Kevin Smith, but the theater manager that I was working at, we didn't have Dogma at it.
Okay.
And so, like, normally we would just, swap tickets or go to the other theater or whatever. But my manager was a big dickhole and wouldn't let me, like, watch R-rated films. So if he was at the fucking theater, I wasn't allowed in the R-rated films.
So
I was like,
stupid.
What are you, my dad?
Yeah.
Like,
Idiot.
whenever he wasn't there, I was always fucking doing that. I had the same shit with Scary Movie. Like, I had to fucking sneak around for Scary Movie to watch it. But yeah, so I had to kind of wait until this came out on DVD, or it was the VHS when I first saw it, and God, I loved it. But I was turned on to Kevin Smith by my friends. They showed me Mallrats, and I was, like, instantly hooked. And I found out about Clerks, and I watched that a million fucking times afterwards.
Yeah.
So
You turned me on to we watched Dogma, but when we lived together is when I really fell in love with Dogma, because we'd watch it on DVD all the time.
Yeah.
Like when me and Gibbs were living together. But I mean, it's as far as your manager goes, it's really not fair, because you don't know, like, his childhood. He could have had a abusive father, or he could have had something that led him over to.
Get out of the street, you fucking bum!
Didn't you say he was part of the Westboro Baptist Church?
He might have been, which ties into this episode.
I mean,
man.
he was very religious. I don't want to say his name, but he is the guy that discovered Usher.
He was. That's actually out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. But before we get going, guys, remember to like, subscribe, hit us with 5-star, tell your friends, buy some merch. And today I'm doing some orange IPA, blood orange IPA from 21st Amendment Brewery. They've got some good stuff, man. If you ever see them in the beer store, check them out. Tasty, tasty beers, man. Leaf, what do you got?
Bro, nothing numbs the pain of being eternally separated from God like a delicious painkiller made with Admiral Rum. Sponsor the podcast. Cheers.
Please, for the love of God. Shadwick, is there a chance maybe you just had a big bender this weekend and you swapped it up, or are we?
Well, I did not. Well, I didn't have a big bender, but I am swapping it up.
All right.
Because I'm going to drink from the blonde.
Ooh.
Oh. I like
there
it.
she is.
He's got a Cinderella shot glass. And he's now spit in the redheaded shot glass.
It's against the laws of God, dude.
Yeah.
I'm drinking from the blonde and I'm spitting on the redhead.
Yeah, Leaf thanks you for that.
You're an angel. Wow.
Yeah, Shadwick's
like
an angel. I mean, after seeing Alan Rickman, it kind of makes sense. Gibbs, bring us home, man. What do you got?
Yeah. Blessed by Cardinal Glick himself, I have a can of Bliss.
Nice, dude.
This is the strawberry limeade.
I've got to
flavor.
tell you, you handled yourself very well in Total Recall. There was back editing it, you were fine. So
That's
that
weird
means
because I felt like there was times whenever I just stopped talking for.
Yeah,
like, and just stared.
You wandered off camera 4 times, but it's very easy to cut around, man.
Make sure you stand up.
Dude, before we get started, also want to shout out, because it's June, guys, so shout out our June Rewinder of the Month, Nate. Nate, thanks for so much interaction on Instagram, Facebook, the Metaverse, I guess is what that is. But Nate's always got great ideas. I think he was the one that gave us the idea for Trading Places. Always,
Nasty Nate.
Yeah,
Nasty Nate.
Nasty Nate or Nate the Great, whatever one you want to say, man.
Nobody calls him that.
Yeah.
I prefer Nate the Snake.
Okay, there you go. It doesn't even rhyme. Nothing matters. Anyway,
I like Nate the Great.
yeah, Nate the Great's good. But anyway, Nate, thanks again for supporting the podcast, and welcome to the Rewinder of the Month Club. So, guys,
Hey, Nate, jump in the comments on that Superman trailer. Help me out with those Snyder cuts.
yeah. How does it feel to be on the other end of a troll situation, Chadwick? Chadwick's like, is this what I've been doing to people all this time? This is awful.
Did you get trolled by the Snyderverse?
Dude, we're getting lambasted on one of our posts, dude.
It's fucking funny, man.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but anyway, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic, guys.
What the fuck does that mean? Has everyone gone fucking nuts? What the fuck happened to that guy's head?
Dogma, the Kevin Smith classic. Leaf, why don't you kick us off with some boring ass facts?
Absolutely. For the uninitiated, ladies and gentlemen, Dogma is a 1999 American satirical fantasy comedy written and directed by the illustrious Kevin Smith. The film also stars Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, George Carlin, Linda Fiorentino. How do you say that, Chadwick? Thank you.
Fiorentino.
Yeah. Janeane Garofalo's in it. Chris Rock, Jason Lee, Salma Hayek, Alan Rickman, Alanis Morissette makes an appearance, and of course, always my personal favorite, Jason Mewes.
Yeah, dude. Did you guys also get confused? And now when I go back and watch it, because he's no longer Jay to me anymore, because I've watched so much of their on-stage stuff. So he's Jason Mewes, and they kept talking about a muse in this. And I was like, he's fucking right there.
He's right there, dude. Look, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Why don't you get Jason Mewes to play the Muse? No, I'm just kidding.
The Muse has a different superpower than.
Yeah, that's very true, man.
The movie was actually made for $10 million, but grossed $43.9 million at the box office, despite Chris spilling beer on a quarter of the movie and people not seeing it. Somehow it still managed to make a shit ton of money. So this is
also despite the Catholic Church or members of protesting the shit out of this.
Well, and that's actually let's just jump into this, because I will. This is one of the ones that I found. I'll head this one off. So the reason now that we're in this weird fucking spot, Kevin Smith is calling it the 25th anniversary. He's doing a re-release. It's going to be released in theaters, I believe, when this one's dropping. So in June, check your theater listings. You should be able to go see it.
June 5th, I believe.
Yeah, so you should be able to go see it in theaters again. A digital copy that does not have 1999 beer on it. I believe that was Natural Light too. Really classy beer that spilled on that movie print. But what happened was, because of the upheaval and the uproar, I guess Disney had bought Miramax, and the Weinsteins had their own company, so they bought it to distribute it for Kevin Smith because they liked the movie, and Kevin Smith was very close to them. Again, this is way before all the shit. We're not getting into any of that, but this so that's why now, with all the legal issues, it was so hard for him to buy it back, because it didn't belong to that's why it couldn't be on any streaming, right? No big company owned it. It was owned by this small Weinstein company. And, obviously they were busy with other things.
Yeah, so whatever happened to Weinstein?
Yeah, all right. Terrific.
So, well, I mean, since you brought him up, Kevin had been trying to get this back for years already. And then, he had sent letters, he'd made calls, could never get any kind of traction with it. And then out of the blue, he gets a call from Harvey, and he's like, "Hey, Kevin, I just realized, we've got Dogma, and we're not doing anything with it. So, you want to see what we can do, like a sequel series, maybe?" And of course, Kevin's fucking excited as he can be, and then 3 days later, all the news came out.
Yeah, all the allegations dropped.
No way, dude. Yeah. So right at the cusp.
Well, so Kevin talked to his manager, or whatever, agent maybe, and he's like, "No, Kevin, he was calling you to see if you were one of the sources for the New York Times." So he just told you something that you wanted to hear about your movie, just to see how you would react, see if you would take his call, see if you acted. Well,
because I don't know if in his book that I'm listening to right now, it's called Tough Shit, came out in 2012. Him and Weinstein actually had a falling out at one point, I believe, when he took the indie route on how he released Red State, and so. There was an incident backstage anyway, and so he, as of writing that book, he hadn't talked to Weinstein in a long time. So that may have also been another one where it's okay, so he's finally returning his call, and then it's shit. So again, don't want to get into all that shit. That's not what we do on here, but that's why this thing has been in fucking limbo, is because it wasn't like Disney had it and just stashed it. It was because this organization, this company that exists, owned all the fucking rights to it, so they could release it and distribute it. Right. And it just no one had anything to do with it anymore.
Yeah, right. And once Harvey was taken out of the equation, the company's still on the movie.
Right.
So Kevin was again he was offering money. Basically, it's $250,000. The lawyer comes back and he's like, no deal. $500,000, no deal. So he I think he even reached out to some of his friends, and went back and offered like $1 million for his own goddamn movie.
For his own movie, right?
The movie made $43.9 million.
And they still wouldn't release it to him. And then like not long after that, out of the blue, there was like this investment firm that had bought like, I don't know, 6 or 7 movies from the Weinstein group.
Yeah.
And one of them was Dogma. And he never did say like the exact amount, but he said that like his last offer was like on the cusp of what they paid for all of those properties. So
really?
So yeah, that money manager's not really helping out Harvey very much.
No,
but,
so I mean, at least,
but also fuck him.
Yeah, it's rightfully back where the money's back where, or the movie's back where it belongs. So and it's fucked up, like you said, that it was his movie. He's got to go buy it back. But at the time, you know, Harvey was doing them a solid to try, because the Catholic Church had such a buck back on this. And they were upset, and so they said, you know, kind of fuck you or release it anyway, and it made some money. I still think that it should have been $100 million movie, as good as it is. Like the plot for this is so fucking good. Like it's got so many layers. It's just, I don't know. It's a great film.
Yeah, Kevin Smith actually said that there was one moment that cost them the $100 million mark, and that was they didn't remove the belly button from Jason Lee, like from Azrael, whenever he took off his shirt.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, he wasn't born. Why would he have a belly button? And he was like, that was the difference between Nick and...
Oh, really? I thought it was...
It's not true. That's just a joke.
Yeah.
But...
Okay. The truth is, he was told that this would have been like an award-winning film had he left out the shit monster.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think that it's...
I don't. Like, listen, guys, I'm going to say this is one of my favorite comedies of all time. Top 5, top 10, at least. I love this fucking movie, but I have a lot of criticisms of it too. You know, like there are things that I kind of cringe at whenever I watch this, and a lot of it's the performances, and a lot of times I call this exposition the movie. Because it is so fucking exposition heavy. Like every scene has just this monologue where it has to explain to the audience what's going on, and sometimes I'm like, okay.
Was this his like 4th or 5th?
This is 4th movie.
But I mean, to think that he went from making Clerks on his own fucking dime to this level of film, like of course there's going to be some shit, you know, that you gotta pick up.
I couldn't agree with Gibbs anymore. Like I actually feel the same way, and I felt it when the first time I watched it. Like again, it's a very hilarious and well written, well acted, performed. But I have a lot of criticisms too. Like, and we'll obviously get into those here in a minute. But like with the film, you know, in and of itself, and I'm a fan too. But you know, there's moments when I'm just like, God, dude, like you could have edited this out and changed this and et cetera, et cetera.
Being said, I think that Ben Affleck should win an Academy Award for every movie he's in. So
same.
He was a bomb in Phantoms.
Phantoms,
he was miscast.
So Kevin Smith had actually written this script. Before Clerks, but it was titled God. And he's like, you know, that's a little ambitious, probably. But
God.
I bet you weren't expecting that one, God.
He was, I think he was at Sundance for.
Chasing
no,
Amy?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. He was at Cannes for Clerks, I guess, and he saw a screening of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
so that was like his introduction to Quentin Tarantino, like all of us. Basically, it's pop culture put into conversation form, and he's like, "Oh my God!"
Reservoir Dogs,
that's it.
Yeah, he
Reservoir
talks about
Dogs.
Like a Virgin and how it's about having like a big dick inside of her, and so it feels like it's the very first time. And so the pop culture references and stuff.
But, I think
thank you for digging me out of that little K-hole there.
I think what he said is he went back and he rewrote a lot of parts of Dogma after watching, I guess probably would have been Reservoir Dogs or seeing Tarantino for the first time. It kind of just gave him, he could see shit from a different angle after watching how he did stuff.
Yeah, he was talking about how you can write with different tones in different scenes, and also, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be, you know, linear. But yeah, so Tarantino was a big inspiration, and fuck, I cannot remember this other guy's name. Gibbs, you know, the other indie film director that think
Richard Linklater.
Yes, that's it.
Is it really? I was just fucking pulling that out of my ass.
Yep.
Dude, Gibbs has the sweetest ass.
Oh,
It is a sweet ass.
Yeah. So, dude, let's jump into this one, man, because there's going to be a lot that we're going to sprinkle in as we go. So, let's jump into it, Leaf.
There is a ton, dude. So the film opens up with a disclaimer warning that the story is fictional, obviously.
This disclaimer was something that the Weinsteins made him add against his will. But he was like, "Do I really have to do that?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Can I write anything?" and so
he does.
That's why he threw in the whole platypus.
Yeah,
nice.
As long as you have a giant spider in the third act.
Well, I'm a badass cowboy living in the cowboy days. Pinky, winky, scratch, yo, bang, bang. Me and Artemis, Light Frog, Ghost, and Salma Hayek from the big metal spider.
He goes on to basically say, it's not meant to offend anybody. It's obviously fiction. Ending that, even God has a sense of humor and only God can judge, et cetera, et cetera. And then he goes on to insult the platypus and the platypus enthusiasts, like in the disclaimer as it goes on. And this just gets ridiculous, like from the out-go. So I'm already laughing because I like absurd humor automatically. The first actual scene in the movie is a homeless man, which he looks to be standing on the boardwalk of the Jersey Shore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sort of
played by Bud Cort.
Played by Bud Cort.
Famous from Harold and Maude, but I know him from Brain Dead, the only movie I know that has Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman in it, guys.
He's wistfully staring out into the open and just absolutely gets lambasted and nearly beaten to death by 3 hockey stick wielding teenagers.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That's not where you're supposed to play hockey, right?
Yeah, that's.
I guess not.
Us guys in the South don't know shit about hockey.
I didn't know. I was like, they're just playing hockey, dude. There's nothing wrong with this scene. Like, it's just.
Did you guys just on this rewatch? Did you immediately think of the guy that played Foggy when he was in the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
that one kid has that kind of the deadness in his eyes and the long hair.
Senor Foggy.
Yeah. Which they make mention of those Mighty Duck fucks later on.
Yeah. And so they're on rollerblades or whatever, and they just beat this old man. They beat him up, and that's your introduction to the film. But then we pan.
No man's like, I'm not even supposed to be here today.
He's not even supposed to be here. Guys.
We're coming to that. Yeah. So we pan to a cathedral, this beautiful stone cathedral, obviously a church, and we're introduced to one of the main characters, Cardinal Glick, played by George Carlin.
Now we all know how the majority and the media in this country view the Catholic Church. They think of us as a passé, archaic institution.
And I actually want to stop you right there.
Yeah.
2 things. Actually, he was one of Kevin Smith's favorite comedians when he was young. His dad actually introduced him to him, and he had one. He asked him to be in this movie, and was kind of thinking he's probably going to turn me down. And he said just one thing, and then Kevin Smith's like, "Oh shit, here we go. He's going to ask for a lot of money." And he's like, "My wife recently passed away. I know I'm playing a cardinal or whatever, but can I put a Band-Aid over my wedding band so I don't have to take it off?" And Kevin Smith's like, "You're the coolest fucking dude in the world." Which actually leads me over to shit stuck in my head this week.
Like this.
Yeah, but what happens when they pick you up and you don't make with the head? Don't they kick your ass to the curb?
Sure, if you don't make with the head. Yeah. Hey, if it'll get me a couple of 100 miles across the country, I'll take a shot in the mouth.
There you go. George Carlin, ladies and gentlemen.
Not the greatest or strongest actor in the world, but goddamn, I love him.
Took a shot in the mouth, man.
But he approached every role a very even the silliest of roles he approached with the seriousness.
Yeah.
Because
I will say in Jersey Girl, which is a non-Viewers universe movie, he kills it. Tearjerker, you know.
But he would write backstories on his own time for his characters.
Nice.
So he would have something to draw from when he was in his scenes. So you're talking about Jersey Girl. He's always mad at Greenie, I think was the character name. So
Don't say that around your dog too loud.
Yeah, no shit. But he wrote his backstory. He's like, this guy's always pissed at him and giving him shit, and nobody knows why. He's like, so I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to mention it, but it all goes back to high school with a botched hand job.
Dude, he's a funny motherfucker for sure. Sharp dude too.
But in this movie, he does play Cardinal Glick, and who announces that the Catholic Church's image needs an overhaul, and they're terming it Catholicism. Wow, this no doubt pissed a lot of people off. No doubt.
Do you guys, being in the South, do you remember Super Wow?
No.
So I lost 2 girlfriends to that bullshit. It was basically
the purity ring.
No, it was basically like a summer fucking weekend church camp where like all these teenagers would go for a week and be brainwashed and color their hair with Kool-Aid and shit. And,
yeah, I don't think Kool-Aid they were talking about Shadwick.
No, I don't. I mean, they may have been drinking the Kool-Aid, but they were definitely like using Kool-Aid to color their fucking hair like all these crazy colors or whatever. And then they come back and don't want to have sex anymore. And like,
yeah,
is this what your God's teaching you?
It's somehow Shadwick's the bad guy.
Everybody needs to know that God's first commandment was be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah.
And Shadwick was just obeying the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Shadwick's like, Jesus. And he's like, what?
Well, what does it say? Your seed is better off being in the belly of a whore than on the ground.
I mean,
Ron White. Maybe it's on the belly of the whore. I mean,
Ron White was pretty. I mean, he was like, I couldn't agree with you more, Granny.
So Catholicism is being rebranded to this movie as Catholicism. Wow, obviously this was 1999. Church membership was declining, and so this was a dig at that. This is a satirical dig, sort of, at church attendance being lower, and the cardinal obviously trying to drum up more parishioners and joiners in the church by rebranding themselves. Also featuring a new, less depressing version of Jesus Christ, not crucified, but instead super happy with
where did you get that?
Gibbs right there.
Where'd you get it, Gibbs?
Christ. You can get it from their website.
You go to CatholicChurch.com.
Catholic Wow.
CatholicismWow.com.
No, seriously, I looked for one the other day and I can only find like Etsy.
Well, we've had that forever. I have no idea.
Kevin Smith's got a website too. If I'm not
I've got
lazy,
so much fucking.
If I'm not lazy in editing, I'll put the link down here. But I bought a signed Clerks 2 script a while back. It's got Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith signed it. Yeah.
So the one used for the movie was an actual marble statue of Jesus taken from a decommissioned church, and the artist, lopped off the arms and the head and remolded it, and actually, what?
It's just funny.
I was like, I'm going to cut off Jesus's head.
Yeah.
I think that was reserved for John the Baptist.
So this artist's name was Dave DeFree, I believe, and if you pull up a side by side picture of him and Buddy Christ, he actually put his face on the, yeah. So he made God in his image.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
And he got hit by a semi truck 3 days later.
And Kevin paid for all that to be done out of his own pocket so he could keep it afterwards, and it's still at the Secret Stash.
That's cool. The comic store.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
man.
amazing, dude. Also, the news reporter reporting.
Dude,
the news reporter reporting on the story of Catholicism Wow and the rebranding was Bryan O'Halloran, right?
Now, in an effort to disprove all
Hicks,
that,
the news guy.
Why was he not just Gil Hicks?
And he played Gil Hicks in Mallrats.
Yeah, they did that before. Really, I don't know. It's funny, but we talked about this in Total Recall with Verhoeven using a lot of the same people. Kevin Smith for sure had his wheelhouse that he would use, and we'll talk about that as this thing goes on.
Yeah, and from what I understand, Bryan O'Halloran wasn't even supposed to be there today.
Eve,
not even supposed to be here today.
I wanted to make that joke so bad. Danny Gibbs.
Well, hell, I've already heard that one today, you fucking unoriginal person. Once you suck a cocky piece of fucking repeating shit.
Dude, let's go to the stars. Those are the real stars of this fucking whole meat piece. Are people that are even better, and they're more than good Will Hunting. So
yeah, at an airport in Wisconsin, we meet two exiled angels, Loki, played by Matt Damon, a.k.a. the Angel of Death, and Bartleby, Ben Affleck, a watcher. Both angels. Loki is
guess what he does.
Loki is talking to a nun, and he's talking to her into leaving the church because, quote,
I just like to fuck with the clergy, man.
Yeah.
So that's me.
So I love their interaction so much right here.
Yeah.
Like I think out of all this great cast, I think Matt Damon and his character is probably my favorite of the whole movie.
Same here.
The Bartleby and Loki are my favorites. Like,
yeah, that's
I
what
love,
I said. They're the stars. They're the stars.
I mean, shit, man. Their performance, like, they have so much chemistry, and it's so natural. And
it's almost like they're friends in real life.
Yeah. Weird, huh?
Weird.
Dude, I'll tell you what's fucked up. I didn't realize this till I was reading Kevin Smith's book, and this just shows how snobby and snooty and shitty Hollywood is. There was a rumor going around that they didn't really write Good Will Hunting. I was like, what the fuck, man?
A lot of the rumors back then was that Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
actually
that's what
wrote it
Kevin
for
Smith
them.
said. He was attached to it, and I forgot what the other guy was. But it's
Gold.
Yeah, no, it was William Goldman.
Yeah, Goldman.
The guy that wrote Princess Bride, Marathon Man, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like,
when Goldman saw the script, like he read it, and I think they were like asking him to punch it up a little bit or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wouldn't change a fucking thing.
Yeah. Goldman, I mean, he does like a lot of doctoring, like script doctoring and stuff, you know. And the nun in that scene is Betty Averlin, who played Miss Averlin in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh shit!
And Kevin Smith said that she did this because she was trying to get rid of that image.
Okay, nice. That's fun.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Good on Kevin Smith for he again, like his movies. If you start just peeling back layers, you can go for fucking ever on a lot of his shit like this.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse for him to hang out with his friends.
It's really,
know?
Dude. I know.
Who knows what that's like? Yeah.
So Matt,
Gibbs doesn't realize that these don't even air. Like we haven't aired a podcast yet. Like we're just like we just want to hang out with.
We don't even hit record. It's all a lie. Dude.
That tracks because I don't even try to find this shit online.
Nobody else does either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Damn it.
Yeah. So Matt Damon is playing Loki, which this is not the only time in his career that he plays Loki. Anybody?
He played Loki in Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's right.
He played him in a play.
Yeah.
Not actually Loki.
Right.
I had to do a double take on that when I saw it. I was like, oh shit, that's Matt Damon. Like that's awesome.
But yeah, so he talks this nun like out of her faith basically, and tells her to go find a man or a woman or whatever, just someone you can connect with, even for a moment.
Yeah.
You know, and she walks off. You know, like what have I been doing my whole life? And he kind of smirks, and the whole time he's like giving this speech to her, you see Ben Affleck's Bartleby. He's sitting on the opposite chairs, you know, and he's just like rolling his eyes, you know, and so like Loki jumps over, he sits down, and this is just so good, man. Like they're just back and forth, like.
Man, now here's what I don't get about you, man. Why do you feel the need to come to this place all the time?
My friend, because this is humanity at its best.
You know for a fact there's God. You've been in his presence.
Yeah, no, that's
you know? And then when he hands in the paper, which, you know, to further the plot here, these guys have been excommunicated from heaven. They've been sentenced to live somewhere even worse than hell. Wisconsin.
Oh God!
Yes.
Hello.
But someone anonymously has sent this newspaper clipping to Bartleby, which points out a loophole where they can get back into heaven. And he hands the paper to Loki, and he reads the headline, and he's like,
Cardinal Glick cuts ribbon on Catholicism WOW campaign. And? You have to keep reading.
but he's like, but he tells them we're going home, and Loki's like staring at him. He goes, quit leering at me. People are going to think I broke up with you.
Yeah.
Right.
I love when they're having that back and forth on the moving walkway,
Yeah.
and you can see the nun in the background just
Yeah.
like losing her damn shit.
The nun's over there. The nun's like, "When, Lord? When's gonna be my time?"
It would have been better if she was like giving somebody a blowy in the background. But, you know.
Well, I mean, she wasn't a preacher's daughter. You know?
Well, we don't know that.
And so we established these two characters immediately, and obviously, like Shadwick and Gibbs said, like you understand that Bartleby sort of has like the brains.
Right.
Like Loki is really good intention for the most part. Like he served the Lord. And you kind of already get hints about the subplot here that like Loki got kicked out of heaven because he listened to Bartleby. And the dynamic hasn't really changed, and that's important going forward, right? That like Loki sort of listens and like follows along. Like he has his own wants and needs and things, his own goals, but he sort of listens to what Bartleby says. Bartleby is sort of like the brains, you know, between the two, and so he's like, "Here, read this. We can get back in heaven, and all we got to do is this, this, and this." And Loki's like, "All right, cool. Like that sounds fine."
I don't know if we mentioned or not, but Loki is the angel of death. So
he is.
So he was, you know, throughout the Bible, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, all that shit. Like that was supposed to be him.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
And the floods and
he's
whatever.
responsible for enacting the Lord's deadly and righteous judgment upon the sinners.
Sodomites.
Back in the old country is fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
yeah, the Old Testament, man. That's the most violent book there is.
So for them to get back into heaven, they have to pass through the archway of this New Jersey church on its rededication ceremony day. They have to cut off their wings, become human, and die. And
so
that's
then they will be without sin.
Yeah, they'll be without sin.
Which, as ridiculous as that sounds, that came from an actual thing from Kevin Smith's upbringing. Like he was raised as a Catholic, and there was I can't remember what place it was, but it was supposed to be like their 100-year anniversary or whatever, and they did make this decree like if you come, you know, if you go through the archway on this day, your sins are forgiven. And even at whatever young age he was, he's like, well, hold on, like what if it's a really bad sin? And they're like, no, it's forgiven. He's like, oh, yeah, but what if I kill somebody? Like,
I mean, look at prisons, dude. Are you kidding?
They're like, yeah. I mean,
the basis of its forgiveness.
Like, so basically, the lead up to this is the purge.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? So it's like, I mean, if you can walk through, and you know, once you're human, once your wings are cut off, you're human. So you're basically born. So you're without sin, and then you can walk through that. And then if you're killed, you know, then bada bing, because your sins are forgiven once you're human. Go through.
Right. So what happens after that is sort of a moot point.
Right.
I always thought it was funny. Affleck, he's like,
and once we get back in, I'm sure I'll just forgive and forget.
Yeah, right. You like anybody that's ever like has been in the church, and obviously like there's digs all you know, through the movie about Catholicism and Christianity. Like you're already like, okay, this is not that easy, obviously, like to them, but. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, like straight out of the gate, like at least for me, I'll 100% say it. Like I'm a Christian, I believe in God, but like you talk about paper thin fucking skin from people that some my fellow Christians, Jesus Christ, like take a joke and move on, like
dude.
And my philosophy is there is nothing too sacred to make a joke about.
Correct.
So.
We give it humor, by God, if you believe that way. You know,
what's important to you isn't necessarily important to everybody else, and losing that perspective makes you a jackass.
Agreed. So
well, I mean, we'll get to it, but you know, Chris, you're talking about your Christianity. I was raised in a Baptist church. You know,
naked.
I don't not believe that there's something. I guess I would categorize myself as agnostic now. Like
Would you say that you have an idea?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There you go.
The basic premise of this movie is just leans to what I believe. Like, why would any one, denomination think it was they should take it upon themselves to slaughter anybody else that doesn't believe the way they believe.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot. I don't want this to derail into a.
I do.
Gives us that's what he's here for.
Yeah, it'd be like 4 hours. Yeah. It'd be 4 hours later, but yeah. I mean, to Shadwick's point though, I think we all have similar sense of humor where we see this movie and you take it for what it is. It's a fucking movie, and it's funny, and it's sometimes you got to take a fucking shot in the mouth to get across the country. I mean, that's just
So, like, just as an example, what's worse, making a movie with a rubber poop monster or The Crusades?
Yeah, well, which one killed more people?
Yeah, so shut the fuck up. Let us enjoy our movie. Also, I hope you enjoyed the movie. I know you did. Yeah. But that's something that Kevin Smith said. Like, when the movie came out, before the movie, months before this came out, there were protests and people going crazy. He protested it himself as Bryan Johnson.
Yeah.
As Steve Dave himself. And but once the movie actually came out, everyone shut up because they saw it and they're like, oh. And I think that's kind of
the movie is not denying God
we've...
exists. The movie's not like there's tongue in cheek
all
shit,
it's saying
but
is God's Alanis Morissette,
which is fine with me because Jagged Little Pill is the fucking bomb.
I don't agree with that at all. She is not God.
You obviously didn't listen to Jagged Little Pill in '96. So.
Yeah, you didn't.
I did. I liked it all right.
You were a hater, dude.
I liked
you were a hater.
Horrible actress. Anyway, let's moving on.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of that scene was when they're getting on the elevator and he's like, he was saying, we should get laid or whatever, and he's like, well, since we don't have dicks, we should do the next best thing.
What's that? Huh? Let's kill people. Oh, not you.
Yeah, right, he wants a hit movie.
Yeah, right,
which is a movie. I guess that was established in what? Well, was this the first?
This is the first appearance of movie The Golden Calf.
Okay,
so and I love how explicitly they just state this is movie The Golden Calf.
The Golden Calf.
Yeah. To me, I think that it's a mixture of like McDonald's and Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 100%. And Loki, his mission is to kill people. Bartleby's mission is to get back into heaven.
Right.
I don't know which one I respect more.
It's true. And so, like Loki does have the thirst for blood. And so on the way, Bartleby convinces him to go through the gates and get their sins to become human and get their sins forgiven. But on the way, he's like, dude, I really need to kill and get back in God's good graces. And so the best thing for me to do is to do my old job and go and murder a bunch of corporatists, which no one's going to miss anyways. So cut to...
Like a health...
Cut to the church in Illinois, sort of a cathedral-esque like we've seen in New Jersey before. But this time we meet Bethany Sloan, played by Linda...
Fiorentino,
a Catholic woman who works, at an abortion.
That's a great joke.
who works at an abortion clinic.
The joke being a Catholic working at an abortion clinic is such a great joke.
Yeah,
you don't have to say anything; it's just fucking funny.
You're right. She's the devout Catholic, attends church, and she works at an abortion clinic with her friend Liz, played by Janeane Garofalo, momentarily.
And outside protesting is Walt Flanagan playing Walt Flanagan and Bryan Johnson playing Steve Dave.
Yes.
So awesome.
I thought it was funny too. Just real quick, we see her sitting in the back of the auditorium or whatever at the church, but as the camera's panning, you see that everyone that's there is not paying attention at all.
No.
Everybody, the kids are goofing around, people are sleeping. Nobody's paying attention to the service except for her. And
I would be willing to bet anybody that's attended church, not saying all churches or whatever, but that does happen, and I've seen it myself, especially growing up.
I'm gonna say it again, guys. If you ever want to get me into church, I'm not saying to you guys on our podcast, but anybody that has a church out there, if you want me to go every Sunday, open up a fucking bar, man.
I bet that tastes good.
Already picking it up officially.
Also, take down that creepy guy on the cross.
Replace him with Buddy Christ. Yeah, he's more friendly, dude. And so Bethany confesses to her friend that she's lost her faith, and even though she attends church, and Janeane Garofalo rightfully does Janeane Garofalo and suggests you just get some dick because that's what replaces Scott in your life is schlong, meaty schlong, dude. Like,
or she offers up you could switch sides.
Yeah, either one.
Dude,
is that why I'm so attracted to Janeane Garofalo? Because I know I can't have her.
You and me are in the
she
same
doesn't like the
boat.
dick.
Bro, listen. The fact is that like Janeane Garofalo's line is like her whole character is very, very brief in the movie, but it's funny. Like, I'm sorry, it's funny because she sort of just like plays that friend who's just like, yeah, do whatever you want to do, man. It's fine.
There's no consequences.
There's no consequences. It's cool, dude.
Maybe I could take a second mortgage on my condo. Well, a lot of people are doing that, and there don't seem to be any consequence.
But her character does have a great line here, which was actually spoken to Kevin Smith by a priest when he was having a crisis of faith when he was in film school, I believe, which was he changed it up a little bit because the way the priest said it to him sounded a little suggestive, but it's basically when you're young, you're like a shot glass. It doesn't take so much to fill you up, but as you get older, the glass is bigger, so it takes more, essentially, belief to keep your faith.
Which is such a good line because it's absolutely true. The more trauma, the more things that happen, it takes more faith to still maintain, and so that's 100% true. Like that is the big dilemma in
I think it's just more important to just give up on it.
It's just as you get older, you get smarter, you get more analytical, and
you figure shit out.
You start seeing some holes in the stories, and you're like, oh, okay.
Guys, become a Mormon, and then like the rest of your life, you're like, what the fuck was that?
Maybe
you can go star in Book of Mormon.
Well, what if we are in a simulation, but it's not actually a simulation? What if we're in heaven, but we're here like on a work scholarship, like.
Dude,
like we have
trying to work on getting a scholarship.
How much did he smoke before this podcast?
We all took edibles before. It's fine, dude. It's fine. We cut to the next thing. We cut to a suburb in New Jersey. So the beginning of the movie sort of jumps all around, right? So we see Bethany at the Catholic church, and then we see her at like the abortion clinic.
Yeah, it still jumps around, but it's still linear. This is still on the same timeline.
It's on the same timeline. It
does jump more
places, right? And so like after we see Bethany and her friend discussing, like her lack of faith, we jump to another place in New Jersey.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Reynolds.
One of three hockey punks murders a lady in her home in front of an air conditioning salesman who's trying to sell her more than central air. And that person turns out to be a demon named Azrael,
demon
played by Jason Lee. And I just want to say this before we move any further. Would this not have been better with what's his name from Deadpool, dude? Like not better, but like
Ryan Reynolds?
Fuck off.
Could you not replace Jason Lee with Ryan Reynolds? Nobody agrees with me? Nobody?
Eat shit.
No.
Why do I have to eat shit? I just literally suggested that maybe Ryan Reynolds
another
could play
shitty actor in this movie.
You've been listening.
Why is everyone so mad?
You've been listening to podcasts with girls trying to give their review on this, haven't you?
Maybe.
Listen, Jason Lee can't be replaced in anything for any goddamn reason.
You don't think? You don't think?
I like him. I like him in this. I do.
You want Ryan Reynolds in My Name Is Earl too?
I didn't say that. Like, I didn't say that Jason Lee was bad. I'm just saying, could you have not seen Ryan Reynolds in this role?
You just.
I didn't know who fucking Ryan Reynolds was back then.
You just insulted Gibbs' Boyd. He's like, he's being at your fucking doorstep with an air conditioned salesman after we're done with this.
Good afternoon, Mrs.
Party.
Dude,
you're looking down the road, man. You're fucked.
I said something about Ryan Reynolds and literally Gibbs and like Shadwick show up my door with the hockey sticks and start beating the shit out of me, dude.
Ryan Reynolds, it just felt insulting towards my friend Jason Lee.
Why?
We're going to show up with hockey sticks and kneecap you.
Yeah, dude, that's fine. It's not gonna affect me. I'm impervious.
I don't know. Like I love Jason
No, but you'll feel our anger, but not be hurt.
I love Jason Lee with Kevin Smith dialogue. That's what I love.
Yeah.
So like when he has, I mean, he was good. My Name Is Earl plays a completely different character. That's one of my like favorite shows of all time. Like I just love the vibe on that show. But like Jason Lee in Mallrats may be my favorite character. Probably top 5, top 10 characters in movies is Jason Lee and Mallrats. Just that smart ass quip back and forth, like just. I
Jason
love
Lee
it.
and Chasing Amy was freaking hilarious. Jason Lee and everything is great. And originally Jason Lee was supposed to play the Loki character. He wasn't supposed to be Azrael, but the execs wanted Matt Damon.
I think they nailed it though. I mean, execs were right.
I'm not mad about it, but then they wanted. He tried to get him a bigger part, but then Jason Lee started doing Mumford, which is a really highly underrated movie, and he. So he had to take the smaller role as Azrael, even though it's like a key role. He doesn't have that many scenes.
How crazy is it that Mallrats was his first speaking role in a movie?
Dude, and he did that dialogue that well, like his first fucking speaking role, and he can shred on a fucking skateboard.
Yeah.
He could, yeah.
Some guy backstage. I don't know his name, but he seemed unimpressed to me.
but he tasks his 3 hockey punk minions to go kill the last Scion, whoever that is.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we don't have no idea. Like, you have a clue, but back at Bethany's house, as she's snuggling in bed, suddenly a massive flame explosion occurs at the foot of her bed, and immediately she puts it out with a fire extinguisher.
Sweet Jesus, do you have to use the whole can?
I love this whole thing, like the play on the burning bush and all that, you know, like the voice from the burning bush, and she uses a fire extinguisher, and Alan Rickman is fucking insane.
Yeah, so
like it's so good. Like love that.
He's Metatron, the voice of God, because
human beings have neither the oral nor the psychological capacity to withstand the awesome power of God's true voice. Were you to hear it, your mind would cave in and your heart would explode within your chest. We went through 5 atoms before we figured that one out.
Alan Rickman actually like reached out to Kevin Smith just to like let him know that he was a big fan of his movies and shit.
Yeah,
how fucking cool is that?
Yeah, his agents were pitching him on some other projects, and he only wanted to talk to the guy that made Chasing Amy.
Yeah. And they stayed friends afterwards up until Alan Rickman's death. You know, like anytime like Kevin Smith was over in England, he would go visit him and vice versa.
Yeah.
It was Alan Rickman's idea to not bleach his hair, but dye his hair black and make himself really, really pasty and white because he wanted to look like an aging Ziggy Stardust.
Okay. I got it. Yeah, but I mean, his dialogue, his deadpan delivery is just perfect. And it's crazy. It's got to be crazy for Kevin Smith. It's like George Carlin, your favorite comedian. You're working with him on fucking movies. Like Alan Rickman, he was a big Kevin Smith's a big diehard fan. So fucking Hans Gruber reaches out to you and wants to be in your fucking movie. Like he got to work with Bruce Willis, which apparently didn't turn out so well.
Nope.
But I mean, as far as on set, I don't mean the movie itself. Apparently Willis was kind of a dick. So that was a letdown. But I mean, look at Kevin Smith's life. I mean,
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people. I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and night.
Like
day and night.
Working with his heroes, got a hot wife. Like
it's so awesome, dude.
So also Rickman wanted to bring one of his friends along to be in the movie, which was Emma Thompson, and Kevin cast her to be God initially.
Okay.
She, I think about a month later, she wrote him like a very nice, well-worded, handwritten letter saying, "I'm sorry, I'm going to have to bail. I'm going to take a year off and try to have a child."
Okay.
And but you know, her and Rickman did end up working together later on in some wizard movie. So,
who told you to cover up?
Nice.
No, before that they were, well, I don't know if it was before, but they played a married couple in Love Actually.
Oh yeah. There you
go.
Okay.
But so anyway, so Alan Rickman is the voice of God, as we find
he
out.
is not Megatron, but Metatron.
He is not.
Which I used to think it was Megatron.
Well, I was like, damn, those fucking Decepticons are everywhere.
They're everywhere, dude. Like, right? They've been working for God, dude. He tells her that she's the last Scion, and she has to stop Bartleby and Loki's plan to prevent the end of all existence. Like, that's like she's tasked with that.
Yeah, this scene is great too because it really does play into if that happened to you, you'd be like, how did you break into my house? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
What tricks are going on?
Fuck happened to that guy's head?
He snaps his finger. They're, down the street at a Mexican joint. That's when you learn, like Chadwick did to start the show.
God decreed that angels could no longer imbibe alcohol, hence all the spitting.
And that's because Bartleby got Loki drunk, and that's when he talked him into laying down the sword and defying God's order to be the angel of death.
Because they were drunk.
So basically when we used to be able to have
Hence
fucking
the spitting.
Yeah, and since we used to have booze at lunch at fucking work and stuff, now we can't because some crazy asshole fucking burned down an entire town or something. So now we can't be like Don Draper with some whiskey sours at lunch.
You can if you have lunch by yourself.
So Metatron tells her she is the last Scion. She's tasked with stopping the two angels from trying to cross over the threshold and entering and ending all existence. And she's skeptical, as one might be.
As everyone would be, right?
As one might be. But he tells her, listen, if you change your mind, you'll get help. She promises help in the form of two prophets.
The one who speaks, and he will, at great length, whether you want him to or not, will make mention of himself as a prophet.
At great length, right? And the other one is the quiet type. So the next night, while leaving work, the abortion clinic, by the way, Bethany, that's for Gibbs, Bethany is attacked by the three hockey punks with, right? And she is rescued summarily by the two prophets, who turn out to be none other than, of course, our favorites, Jay and Silent Bob, Jason Mewes, played by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith.
Snoots to the motherfucking news!
One more little thing about Alan Rickman. Kevin Smith, in most of his movies, it's his like close friends or cast members. So like he's very comfortable with them, and he gives them line reads. So he writes all his shit. So if they're saying something with a different inflection than what he wants, he'll correct them like, no, say it like this. With Alan Rickman, it wasn't that he was doing anything wrong. It was there's a scene where he's doing wax on, wax off, and he had not seen Karate Kid, so he didn't he didn't understand it. So Kevin Smith, he's like, hey, no, it's wax on, wax off, and he said Rickman just like turned slowly to him and he goes, royally trained. and he's like, I didn't give him more line readings after that.
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was kind of wild, reading Kevin Smith's book, I didn't realize, and I don't know if he continued throughout his career, but he would do edits at night. He would shoot during the day. He would go do edits at night. And then so sometimes I think it was Red State was one of the ones, by the time when they shot the final day, they could watch the movie the next day, the entire fucking movie. Like it's already edited and shit. That's wild.
So you're saying we should hire him to work on this podcast?
God damn it, please.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, could you please work on this podcast, please? You're so good at editing. Then, dude.
Per diem.
Or could you just remote in for an hour and talk to us?
Or just be our best friends.
I mean, whose dick do I have to suck? I mean,
it's definitely not It's not Metatron. I'll tell you that much.
Whose dick does Gibbs have to suck?
Sorry, Gibbs.
I'm game.
Dude, you did get a side thing here too. Is this where Loki goes and buys a gun?
So while this is happening, like the angel is trying to convince Bethany to be like the last Scion and like take on this task. Loki, a gun salesman played by Jeff Anderson,
man,
tries to sell
Randall.
Yeah, Randall, which he tries to sell Loki
Salsa shark.
He tries to sell Loki a revolver.
We call this piece the fecalator. One look at it and the target shits him or herself. Try it on.
Loki, of course, no longer has the flaming sword from the days of old he used to, because he's been cast out of heaven. So he needs a new tool of judgment, and so he buys a Desert Eagle .50.
Which sounds great. Yeah.
Shout out to the Snatch lovers out there.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Gibbs
nice.
is the only
was-
one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was the Desert Eagle became the Hollywood gun. Everybody, especially in like that era, everybody had a Desert Eagle, even though nobody in real life has a fucking Desert
nobody.
Eagle.
1999 was when the Matrix came out. The agents all had Desert Eagles.
Yeah.
By the way, so Gibbs
Now
is 100%
Deadpool
right.
has two. He carries two Desert Eagles as well.
too.
Is this the scene where Bartleby is kind of downplaying Loki's, like, his being the angel of death? He's like
how
you
much
you started a few fires, and he's like,
Yeah.
I rained down sulfur. The subtle difference.
This is it. This is it. And so Bartleby is basically like, you've lost your touch. You used to be the angel of death. You're no
He's
longer
like,
the
nope.
angel. And he's like, no, I am still the angel of death. So that's where it starts. Like, he's challenging him.
One of the funniest lines to me. It's so subtle, but he's like, next to soccer.
You get this next scene, which the first time I watched Dogma, this was one of the ones that got me out loud big time. When it's Bethany and Jay and Silent Bob sitting down at the
John
diner.
Hughes.
She takes him out,
dude.
She takes him out to dinner, for obviously as a thank you for rescuing her and from the three hockey punks. And
in lieu of fucking them, which is what they wanted as a reward.
Exactly. Yeah, they wanted sex, obviously, for the rescue, but she's not really into that. So they're having a conversation, and we find out that Jay and Silent Bob are only in town because of some fuck named John Hughes.
She's like the director.
See, all these movies take place in this small town called Sherman, Illinois, where all the honeys are top shelf, but all the dudes are whiny pussies. Except for Judd Nelson, he was fucking harsh.
Have this whole scheme that there's Sherman, Illinois they're trying to go to because there's a bunch of dorks there and hot pieces of ass, and they would sell so much weed and get all the pussy. So
because all the guys are pussies.
Except for Judd Nelson, he's fucking harsh.
But so they're there to sell drugs, which they find out that the town's not even real. Like, big surprise, like Hollywood lies. Like, so they're on their way back, and shortly they're on their way back to New Jersey, where they're from. And she, realizing that maybe the prophecy and all of this stuff is not complete nonsense, Bethany asks to join them, like, on their return trip.
You have the fucking tasteless and amazing line of like,
What are you doing hanging around?
Well, we're here to pick up chicks.
Excuse me?
We figure abortion clinic's a good place to meet loose women.
Why else would they be there if they didn't like to fuck?
God damn.
And so they hop in
the
a car.
The logic is sound.
They hop in a car and they're on their way back to New Jersey when basically Jay doesn't know how to drive and he like a stick shift.
What year are you in? Year?
That's like such like a great line delivery. It's just one fucking word, and it kills me every single time.
It's so funny,
like a 10-second scene.
It's funny, like the setup too. Like, she's in the back seat, they're in the front seat, and they're both doing this like,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, dude. Thank you, Gibbs.
And so they ended up being like, well, the car breaks down. Like, Jay doesn't know how to drive a stick shift, so the car breaks down, and a bus passes right by them. And guess who's on the bus? None other than Bartleby and Loki, who are also having a conversation about Loki losing his touch as the angel of death, and they see a couple.
What a dick move. Like, just calling somebody out on their fucking shit. Like, just being like, I mean, I guess you don't have it anymore.
Especially somebody as dangerous as Loki, who's killed,
and
hundreds
then
of thousands
he cuts to
millions.
this couple that you see making out, who actually, the dude is Scott Mosier.
Yeah, and the girl is his girlfriend at the time, Monica. I don't know if they got married.
So Scott Mosier went to film school with Kevin Smith. They kind of made a pact to be together. He produced, I think, almost every Kevin Smith movie. So, I mean, like, this dude has been in the long haul. He's Mr. Svenning's assistant in Mallrats. I believe. Just
Yeah,
pulling
he
that
was.
one out of my
He played.
ass.
He
But
played.
yeah.
He was the original Willem Black in Clerks. He played Snowball, who was
Okay,
Willem
yeah,
Black,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
who was the same character that Ethan Suplee played, who couldn't see the magic.
Why-
Okay, I got you.
Why do they call him Snowball?
But his character, like, whenever he showed up, Kevin Smith thought he looked like a sailor. So in the credits, his name is the Smooching Seaman. Was what he called him. And the girl was like the girl smooching seaman or something like that, or something like that.
So we find out that the two people making out on the bus are adulterers.
Mm-hmm.
They are not married. The man is married, and so Loki calls it out and summarily executes them with a bullet to the dome,
Dude, and
Straight
everybody's
up.
like running off the bus.
Yeah,
and
the
then
bus.
there they are.
And I like how they did that too. Like, he pulls the gun out, and then the camera just goes to outside the bus, and you see the flash.
Right,
Wow.
yeah. I love that too. And then everybody runs out, and then, of course, he comes out, one of the best lines of the movie.
Whose house? Say what? Run's house. Say what? Martin.
My favorite part about that entire thing that made me I actually almost had to pause because I was laughing so hard, is there's this really awkward pause that, like, Bartleby is looking at Loki like, you just,
what the fuck, man? You
yeah,
fucked
you
a
just
ride.
murdered two people, and now we've got to find like another ride,
Yeah,
and there's
and
like a
like-
big awkward pause between them.
And Loki smiles, and then like he goes serious, and then he smiles, and then he goes serious, and then he busts out the
He's like,
whose house?
Yeah, Run's house. And then he just segues over into Martin.
Apparently, that scene when they got off the bus was the first scene that they shot, and it was the day after they accepted their Academy Award for writing Good Will Hunting.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
So they were
on a
absolutely
high
just
right
like
then.
they were completely high on
That joy was very, very genuine then in his
Yeah,
eyes.
which when they had won the Academy Award earlier for that movie, they forgot to thank Kevin Smith for, like, basically getting them started.
Yeah.
And like they even said on stage, like, oh God, we're forgetting somebody. And like later on, they're walking by Joey Lauren Adams, is that her name? And she like flips a quarter to Affleck. She's like, I think you got somebody you need to call. And so it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So when they were up for the Oscar, he's like, I swear to God, man, I promise you, if we win the Oscar, you'll be the first person that we thank. And fuck, they won the Oscar and didn't thank him again. But it works out for him because fuck, they have been in all of his movies and shit since then.
Yep, absolutely.
They owed him.
Yeah.
So well played Kevin Smith in that situation. So the next day, Jay, Silent Bob, and Bethany's, obviously the car is broken down. Sick of the constant verbal assaults from Jay, she decides, I'm out of here. This whole adventure was a mistake. Bethany decides to leave and walk home. And right as she tries to leave,
Guys like us just don't follow the fucking sky, you know?
Yeah.
And then he like falls down right in front of their face. He's like,
Beautiful, naked, big-titted women just don't follow the sky, you know?
So this is Chris Rock who's playing Rufus.
Yes.
But Chris Rock, so Kevin Smith, I forgot what Chris Rock was filming before this. But the filming went over. And so Kevin Smith was talking to I think Scott Mosier actually was the in between, and is like, so the movie he was on, they were like, we're not releasing him. What are you gonna do? Like, they were trying to fucking strong arm, and Kevin Smith's like, I'm just gonna fly out there and meet with him in his hotel room, I guess. But that night, when Kevin Smith got there, he was gonna have dinner with his ex-girlfriend. Chris Rock told him that's a terrible idea. After Chris Rock left, this lady came from, I think it was the New York Post or something, to do an interview, and it was fucking Kevin Smith's wife, and that's where they met that night. And then
USA Today, I think.
Yep, they were inseparable ever since.
well,
So
and
Chris Rock with the assist.
And to tag on to that story, he was supposed to be going to some type of an award show or a festival or something with Salma Hayek. Not as a date, but they're both going. And but when that reporter came, he's like, he calls up Salma. He's like, hey, that girl I've been telling you about, she wants to go with me to this festival thing. Is that okay? And she's like, Kevin Smith, no one has ever dumped me before.
Salma Hayek's so good. We'll get to her in a second.
So obviously, we immediately find out over a delicious movie muffin later on that Chris Rock, aka Rufus, offers to help Bethany on her quest in return for helping him correct the Bible's mistakes of leaving him out because he's black,
yeah.
which is a theme throughout the movie with him. He's really mad. He's the 13th apostle that you never heard about because he is black skinned.
But so they go back and forth at movies. Again, I think we've decided this is the first movie's appearance, right? Of course, that was in Clerks 2 and
this
everything
is the fast
else.
food version,
Over the movie muffin, Jay and Silent Bob are fucking over it, and so they're gonna go to a strip club and introduce us to the lovely, as Shadwick was mentioned, Salma Hayek. But it's a cool song. She's doing the little pigtails, which I think we talked off air. Don't all the time enjoy pigtails, but Salma Hayek on this, dude, 100.
Is there anything that other than when she was in Frida? Is there any time then?
No, she's perfect. even in fucking what was the Sandler flick, Grown Ups? I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And shout out Salma Hayek.
I want some of her milk.
I think she's just going to be on is it Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition that's coming out? Yes, she is going to be on it, and she looks absolutely the same.
That's how you sell magazines, motherfuckers.
Yep. So I'll definitely be purchasing.
We're getting that one.
I think I'm just going to start. I think I'm just going to start putting her in all of our thumbnails, whether she's in the movie we're talking about or not.
I mean, yeah, dude.
I'd click on it every time.
We need to do a live rewind with that issue because that would be great, dude.
But anyway,
it's just like rotate this and then her in From Dusk Till Dawn.
So
just both stripper roles.
So her character
Dusk Till Dawn is so much better though.
So this character she plays is the Muse. She's a person that sort of came from heaven and she went on her own path and sort of inspires other people, but she has writer's block when it comes to inspiring herself. So without any other ideas or options, she turns to stripping, much like a lot of OnlyFans girls in real life.
Dude, I'll tell you what's kind of cool in this scene. We talk about people that are consistently used in Kevin Smith movies. You have this money bid for her attention, when she's on stage.
Yes.
And so they keep going back and forth, and the dudes on the other side was one of Gibbs' favorite lines from Chasing Amy.
Fuck Lando Calrissian, Uncle Tom.
The actor's name is Dwight. Is it Ewell? Is how you pronounce that. But anyway, he was the one that shoots Jason Lee in the faux shoots him in that
Cooper X.
Yeah.
Now, my book, White Hating Coon.
What's a Nubian?
Yeah, dude. So fucking funny.
But Salma Hayek, she's a muse, so she's supposed to inspire people. What she did, she inspired me to beat my dick until it didn't talk back.
That would beat his dick like it owed him money.
So the next scene is Bartleby and Loki finally arrive at the movie headquarters on their way to New Jersey, where they enact their righteous judgment. And me and Gibbs are gonna laugh because we love the same line in this scene. Dude. In the name of the Lord, Loki is desperate to do his old job for some reason, and he decides to execute the movie executives in the middle of their their little conference,
their board meeting.
Board meeting, yeah,
spelled
exactly.
BORED.
They're just talking about all the profits they made. Over the weekend or whatever.
He whittles this fucking onion figurine of the head guy, and he's
a voodoo doll.
Yeah, and it's so funny the tension that builds up in this scene, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna snap? And then he smashes it, and the dude freaks out, and he's like,
I don't believe in voodoo.
And then what does he say? I do believe in.
I do believe in this.
Yeah, and he pulls the gun out, and then you have the line that is forever etched in my brain that Gibbs says and Leaf too, where he's like,
Don't run! Don't run!
you hear like gunshots going off.
Dude, I love like you can hear him shouting like a callback to like.
Don't believe in this.
That's the line.
As he's shooting, and it's just so brilliant. And originally they were gonna film like a big John Woo action style scene, which is why all of those guys are big, bulky stuntmen, because there was going to be a big
they're big guys,
and then Kevin Smith chickened out at the last minute, and then whenever they were editing the movie, Columbine happened, and so then they were like, oh shoot, should we just completely scrap that? And they ended up keeping it in. I mean, it was great, but
I think the cutaway and let your like the funny lines, it makes it lighthearted enough to where
It is funny because Loki, obviously, Loki ropes Bartleby into this scene, and Bartleby reads their lists of sins out, which they're atrocious, terrible things. Like he basically, condemns them to death before Loki murders them with his Desert Eagle .50.
And at the very end, like everyone's dead. There's just one lady, and she's like freaking out, and he's like, "Don't worry, like you haven't done anything wrong." And then there's a pause, and he's like,
"But you didn't say God bless you when I sneezed."
Loki puts a gun to her head, and then Bartleby's like, "Come on, we got to go, Loki," and he's like, "You're getting off light."
Yeah. Fucking genius.
Dude, it's so funny.
I love again just the Loki and Bartleby interaction where like Loki starts like really getting into character, and then Bartleby wants to like make fun of him, like you're doing it again.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
and he's on such a high when he kills. Like he's so excited to be like.
He'll be like,
It's like when I go sober for like 3 days, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a changed guy. I'm just kidding.
He'll be like, but he'll be like all serious, like talking to him, and then like Affleck will like take him out of it. He's like, God, man.
Yeah.
So we come back to the strip club. Jay and Silent Bob become honorary Bloods because there's a gang there that like obviously indoctrinates them into their gang culture. But the party is interrupted because Azrael has sent a Golgothan, aka a shit demon, to kill Bethany.
Right after one of the dudes from the gang like dropped a fucking deuce in the toilet too, so you don't know if like maybe he just had some issues until the giant demon comes up. But I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, the shit demon, like 1999, Chris thought it was funny. That I can take it or leave it now. Like, I'm just like, like.
Well, that I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was a critic or reporter or some lady told Kevin like when she saw the screening before the movie was released, she's like, I think that you could have an award-winning film if you get rid of the shit monster.
Yeah. I mean,
but he wouldn't do it because Walt Flanagan, like that was something that
it's faster than his dog.
He wrote that shit monster into the movie for Walt Flanagan because he knew that he would think that it was metal.
Yeah. And that scene, I really do think you could cut that scene out and nothing is lost. In fact, it's got my least favorite moment of exposition from Salma Hayek. Well, she's making a Molotov cocktail. She's sitting there fucking spewing the whole history of it. And it's like, okay, can we just not do that? Like,
where's the chase and how do we
everybody stop fucking doing anything and let's explain what this fucking monster is. No, who gives a shit? It's a poop monster. That's all we need to know is it's the Golgothan. It does, the first line it says is not born, shit into existence, or shit in existence, which is a line from Grant Morrison's Batman comic, Serious House on Serious Earth, which is one of my favorite like graphic novels.
Okay. Really?
And it's like Clayface had it like a bunch of Polaroids on the wall, and it was written on like
What's the play on Clayface?
Well, yeah, Smith did say that the original design looked completely different, and he told whoever was doing the special effects, he's like, no, think Clayface from Batman the Animated Series.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, again, like we said,
it looks like that too.
I respect why he kept it in and everything, but again, it's something you could take or leave. Like it's meh, and it gets sprayed with perfume.
Again,
and
like
deodorant.
you said, in 1999, I thought that was classic.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, that's
it was
what I mean.
great.
I laughed.
Well, you got to think too.
But I only had a shot glass to be full of faith back then. Now I have a whole glass.
Right, there you go. How old was Kevin Smith when he wrote this? Like 25?
Dude, he's like our age, of course. Like
Yeah,
of course, yeah. So Bartleby and Loki have to hop on a bus again to continue their journey to New Jersey, but unfortunately, because their detour of their killing spree, they miss the bus. There's no tickets, so they're just about to unfurl their wings and fly to New Jersey because they are angels, if we haven't forgotten. And Azazel shows up and warns them, "Listen, you guys got to keep a low profile. People
Azrael?
are looking." Yeah, Azrael. Excuse me. Azrael are looking
we
for
skipped
them.
over to an X-Men movie real quick.
He warns them that they're being watched basically by God and hell and heaven and everyone in between, and so they need to keep a low profile. So instead, they hop on a train, and guess who's on the train?
Which I love this.
Jesus?
No,
yeah, I dig that Jesus guy, Gibbs. Definitely when they get on this train. And it's, Silent Bob and the whole crew, the
whole
dirt
crew.
moment or whatever. But I love this dialogue. I love the slow realization who each other are.
That scene is where Linda Fiorentino actually like super shines. Like most of the time, she's either just like being angrily befuddled or whatever, or she's like just like listening and she's pretty stale for most of the movie, but in this scene she just blows it away, man.
Apparently in real life she's pretty stale and kind of a bitch. Like I think that's why she didn't really do a whole lot. She was in Jade. Beat David Caruso in Jade.
Yeah. She was. She was in freaking Men in
Kevin
Black,
Smith
too,
said that the day that they were filming at Movies, outside, right before the strip club, she wouldn't talk to Kevin Smith that entire day, and Ben Affleck said later that he thought it was because she was like just getting pissed off that all the other actors get to fly off whenever they're not in the movie, but she had to be there every day, and she was getting jealous that other people didn't have to work as hard on this film, and so I don't know, that I think they've buried the
suck a cock.
Well,
I mean, you're
Me
filming
or her?
You're filming a movie.
No, she's mad because
she's
Ben
the main
Affleck
character.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are flying off collecting Oscars and shit.
All right. Okay, go write your own fucking award-winning movie then. Don't compare yourself to people that are better than you.
You're betters. I agree with Gibbs. There's some lines that she delivers like not very good. But this scene she does shine. Like she's very, very good in talking about her past and like where
she's real vulnerable.
And Chris is right. The performance from Ben Affleck too, whenever he's slowly realizing
like who she is, and he's like, holy
that really
shit.
like is like he played that so fucking
you feel
well.
that even like when again, we watched this movie because Kevin Smith does a great job. This is, it's a comedy, but there are a lot of serious moments in it that are broken up by comedy. And this is one of those where if you're actually paying attention, you're like your hair will stand up on your arm. You're like, damn, like I'm in this moment right now. Like I'm feeling.
Well, they have parallels. Like she's she's mad at God. He's mad at God. So everything that she's saying is just like a reflection of how he feels.
Yeah, they're relating.
So he's like, they're like really like kind of. You almost think that they're going to like get together for a minute.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna fuck, but oh wait, he doesn't have junk.
Yep.
But that's the point. Is the
gotta do the next best thing.
The point is like you like the whole movie. You just know she's lost her faith. She doesn't really explain it. And when she gets drunk with Ben Affleck on the train, who obviously is the angel she's sent to stop from trying to stop their plan. You get this moment where she explains why it is that, and it is really intense. Like she obviously can't have children, and her husband left her, and she's had a really raw, shitty deal that wasn't her fault. and she sort of blames, and she sort of blames God because of that, and that's where
she didn't win an Oscar, like these other guys won an Oscar.
How much insurance is on a Ferrari, motherfucker?
so discovering the fact that she's sent to stop them, they have a brawl.
Right before that, first off, I liked watching Matt Damon and smoking pot with them, where he's pretending to smoke pot. Yeah. But also, there's a scene where it shows Rufus coming to the bathroom, and he says poopy trim.
Yeah.
Which is what Willem says in Mallrats whenever he's like startled when he's watching staring at the thing.
It's used throughout Kevin Smith movies.
And apparently, you guys know what poopy trim is?
No, I don't.
It means ass. So he was saying that since like getting you some trim or whatever is getting pussy or whatever, he's like poopy trim is getting ass.
Some ass.
Getting the ass.
Got you. Never go ass to mouth.
That's funny. He called it tinkle. I wonder what
he calls flopsies.
Take it easy, Bartleby. Just let her go, and we can talk about this.
Bartleby. After all this time, Rufus, this is what it comes down to: slaughter by a meat puppet.
No brawl ensues because obviously, Bartleby
bloodbath
realizes
ensues.
yes, and so they're all fighting, and in the end of the battle, Bartleby and Loki are thrown from the train by Silent Bob.
Why don't they just get off at the next stop?
The prophet saves him again,
Yeah, and of course Ben Affleck, as he's being tossed from the train, is like, "No, Shula Bob," which he apparently wanted to give like some background to his character. So he was like thinking, well, angels would be Germanic or speak German or whatever. That's like some sort of angelic language. And so Kevin Smith convinced him that was German for Silent Bob, which it wasn't.
Cheeky bastard.
So he thought German, the widest of races, is the best language. That's the angelic language.
Look at this guy.
It's all good. Just relax. Everybody chill, dude. So once they're thrown from the train, it cuts to a scene where we basically get sort of the character of Bartleby. Like him and Loki are they're hashing out the end of this, and Loki's like, maybe we should just go back to Wisconsin where we're supposed to, where we were banished by God. And Bartleby's like, you can see his real rage and anger now at humanity. Like he's realized, not only does God not care about us, like he's basically sent human beings who he's starting to hate to kill us or get rid of us, and he has a real seething hatred, and come hell or high water, he's going through that gate no matter what it takes.
We're going home, Loki, and no one, not you, not even the Almighty himself, is gonna make that otherwise.
Even though they warned them in the conversation.
Now there's principles involved where he's like, no matter what.
No matter what. Even though that, they warned them that, listen, if you go through the gate, it could unmake reality, right? Proving God wrong.
I don't think we touched on that. The reason they can't be allowed to go through the gate is it would prove that God was fallible. Yeah. Right. And hence, undoing all of existence. But Bartleby, he's jealous of God's patience with humanity. He's like, where was his infinite fucking patience with me?
Well, it's the jealous son, it's the jealous, brother, it's it's all over it's in the Bible, several stories of why aren't you treating me like you treat them?
The jealous stepson. I've seen a bunch of movies.
I don't know.
All right,
that's a different category.
By the Catholic Church.
Located on the Latinas section.
Latino.
Joey Buttafuoco. All right, let's move on.
Meanwhile, our heroes have abandoned the train and they're at a camp in the middle of the woods because they need to be. and they've decided that they're not going to be on the train anymore because the angels know where they are, and so they're in the woods. And Rufus reveals, obviously, the big plot twist of the film, if you haven't figured it out already, that Bethany is a direct descendant of the family of Jesus Christ. And of course, she freaks out. She doesn't want to be the last quote unquote Scion. That's what that means. And she runs into the woods. And she runs into Metatron, who sort of like talks her off.
I thought
the cliff,
she also did a great job in this.
Yeah.
Like with her anger, like splashing in the water. Where it was that like a fucking of course I fell in water moment where it's like everything's going bad and you just like come unhinged.
Why? What the fuck do you want from me? I fucking hate you!
But Alan Rickman has a line here, and I don't know if it's just the way he delivered it, but it has always stuck with me since then. He's trying to like calm her down or whatever, and he's telling her, you can still be you. He's like,
the incorporation of this new data into who you are, be who you've always been. Just be this as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
and it's just
powerful stuff, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I no, it's his voice, it's his delivery, but it's just so like comforting. It's
I know.
It's like a father figure almost.
Yeah. It's like a pillow I want to lay down on at night.
Mm-hmm.
He's beautiful, man. Originally in this scene, you know how he's like walking on water and shit like that.
Yeah,
She's in the water. Originally in this scene, they were gonna have a rig where, as he's talking to her, she gets lifted up onto the water like Jesus himself. But Scott Mosier said that they ran out of time and money, which is producer speak.
I thought
I
just the visual of like him like when it pans back and he's standing on water, you kind of get it. You know, you're like,
no, I mean it's a really
but
powerful
I will
scene.
say, you saying that would have been bad as fuck if she starts like walking on when her faith returns, kind of like in the Bible, the story, you know.
Yeah, that's what happens in the Bible. Yeah,
right. That would have kind of been cool.
Did you just call the Bible? Did you just call the Bible a storybook?
No,
it's. I mean, what's your
the greatest story ever
in the
told?
Bible?
Come on, man. So yeah, Metatron obviously, restores her faith and is like, listen, you didn't ask for this this terrible thing to happen to you. Neither did Jesus. Sometimes bad things happen to good people or people that don't deserve it, man.
That line where he talks about like Jesus being a child and he was like, if he could take it away, like he would have, like asking that much from a child, like that whole speech. Again, if you haven't seen Dogma, lucky you. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be streaming somewhere. Go fucking find it, because it's just there's a lot of great
you can
stuff
stream
in
it
here.
for free on YouTube.
There's some good things in it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some good things in it, and like as Chris said, Metatron sort of like talks her like off the edge of the cliff and tells her, listen, like you don't have to be different than you are. You just need to be like also. Do your job and do the thing that's requested of you.
Jesus Christ, if I could only get people at work to do that.
So Metatron instantly teleports everyone, including the entire crew, to a fancy restaurant, revealing another insane plot twist that God is a skee-ball fanatic, evidently. And
this is such a Kevin Smith line. Like, this is a Kevin Smith plot right here. Like, it's like, it's just so good. Like,
because up until this point, everyone who like is watching the film is like, well, where's God? If God's omnipotent, if like he knows everything, he's all powerful, why does he just put a stop to like the two angels going into heaven? Well, Kevin Smith has thought of that. And so he's made God in this film. He's made God a skee-ball fanatic who likes to assume human form once a month to indulge in his favorite pastime, but mysteriously hasn't returned from his last trip as to a human and the skee-ball. And no one seems to know, despite their powers. Alan Rickman, the other angels in heaven can't find God.
But we know, don't we?
We haven't put two and two together.
Chadwick did.
Oh, you guys are morons. we are initiated.
There wasn't enough exposition. I know I was complaining about it before.
Yeah, right. There was just a little less here than needed to be. Dude. Jay, however, has a brilliant idea though. God's not there, so they got to take things into their own hands. They just got to ask Cardinal Glick to close the church on rededication day, dude. It's easy. So they go to George Carlin again, Cardinal Glick played by George Carlin, and they ask him, listen, will you please shut down the church for this one day, which he summarily refuses because he's rebranding the church. He wants the parishioners, and I'm sorry, this is probably one of the biggest digs at the Catholic Church, but it's still funny with the mistakes are made line.
Mistakes were made.
That makes you laugh. He's like the Catholic Church has never made mistakes, and Bethany and
they start listing off shit.
Rufus lists off a bunch of things. He's like,
all right, mistakes were made.
Every single time, dude. Every single time. But he refuses because he wants the parishioners. He's greedy. He's like, dude, the rededication ceremony, the rebranding goes off without a hitch. They refuse to. He refuses to indulge, in their crazy antics about two angels tried to unmake reality. So defeated, they go to a bar in New Jersey because they basically just given up. They're out. That was their last idea. And who do they run into other than
Azrael?
Azrael.
I guess we're gonna have to try and kill him.
You said they couldn't be killed.
Correction. They won't be killed.
Jason Lee.
Azrael Abyss.
Azrael Abyss. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Who explains?
Yeah, he explains the whole plot. Yeah, so everything that we know now, he's explaining to them, and he's got them held hostage, and he's basically going to make them watch what's about to fucking go down. Yeah. Because he turns the TV on, and then that's when you see Bartleby and Loki have arrived at the church, and it's fucking. They're serving out stone cold justice.
Fucking laid waste to any and everybody there.
God, dude, they
The saddest part is when Brian O'Halloran is killed because he wasn't even supposed to be there today, dude.
God, he wasn't even supposed to be there, guys, man.
Gil, would you just shut the fuck
up? but during this whole speech, Salma Hayek, God bless her, she's looking over and telling Silent Bob to grab that golf club, which they stole from George Carlin's character because the Cardinal, he at least got a golf club out of it, right? Hid it under his jacket. If he's not going to shut it down, they're at least going to swipe a club. And then so she's trying to be like, yeah, go hit him with it. And then so Azrael sees it, and he's just arrogantly oh, you want him to hit me with that? Fine.
Take your best shot.
Take your best shot. And that's he takes, I thought it was bad as shit where he touches his finger to his tongue and then just cuts his shirt open or whatever. Looks fucking cool. But then Silent Bob swings and it ends up destroying him because the preacher was one of those assholes that would bless his own golf clubs to have a better golf game.
But I'm a fucking demon.
Yeah. And the triplets, the hockey triplets, finally die in blessed holy water.
How about Jay, which is one of me and Leaf's favorite parts? Remember when we were watching it when we were younger, where he's the dude's dead and he's just continually shoving his head down in there.
He's still hitting him. Yeah, calling him names, dude. He's talking trash while the kids.
He's already dead.
Somewhere way back in the movie. Jay has said something to Bethany about
the first time he saves Bethany. I know what you're talking about. He saves Bethany.
He's what if it's a bomb's about to go off? We got 5 minutes to live. Would you fuck me then? She's and that completely, whatever scenario.
Unrealistic scenario.
Sure.
And so now they're going over to try to stop. Of course, when they get to the church, you find out that Loki is just hammered drunk, and his wings are ripped off. Which is kind of.
I like to think of Jesus playing bass for Leonard Skinner. I'm in the front row, just hammered drunk.
Dude, that's where Loki was. I feel so bad for him in this scene. The
he's a complete pawn.
Yeah, the pain in his eyes, the pain in his face, that he's just reflecting on all this. Because at this point, I think Ben Affleck's just dropping people from the sky.
Whoops, take a step back.
Yeah, he's just murdering everyone.
And he's already cut Loki's wings off.
Right. So Loki is drunk
and human.
And so that's when you kind of found out, okay, if they get the wings clipped off of them, they're human. But
does that mean he has a dick now?
I don't know. I'm not sure
That's
if that
what about his dork? Is it made out of orange rock?
You may want to get your friend some help. That's an awful lot of questions about
He's obsessed with superhero sexual anatomy. Yeah.
But then you have like the betrayal here, where this was again Bartleby. He looks sadly on Loki, the dude that he's been with forever, his pawn, and then he has the line of the two things that happen becoming human.
Conscience. Short lifespan. I'm sorry, old friend.
Or be like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Well, he said he's lost the faith, obviously, right? And so Bartleby's goal now is no longer just simply, unmaking reality, but also punishing humanity. Right. And he relished in it. Before, he just wanted to be absolved of his sins. Now Bartleby actively, and Loki calls him out in a previous scene. He's like, dude, you sound like somebody else. You sound like Lucifer. Like you sound like
you sound like the Morning Star.
Yeah, the Morning Star.
Don't say it. Yeah.
He calls him the names, that Satan is called, and that's who Bartleby sounds like, and that's who he in this scenario becomes. Sort of like he just wants to punish humanity, and he wants to get back at God, prove God wrong, and so he kills his best friend Loki after all these years.
I thought it was just sad, like just when it comes back and Loki's drunk, just the whole. Great actor, obviously, but just I felt for him in that. I was like, damn, damn, like, 3 times.
Loki kind of seems like Franco Columbo to Affleck's Arnold.
Yeah, man.
Oh
it does.
God,
He really does.
Dude. It really
it's
does,
crazy.
Dude. It's so sad.
He's a child.
We get the final conflict here in this moment. 2 things are happening at the same time. Bethany realizes that God is potentially in this John Doe's unconscious body on life support, and that was Azrael's. Hey, chill, dude. I'm like a big freaking fan of Denzel Washington. Y'all ever seen that movie? The movie's so sick,
no one
man.
has.
All right, dude. So so Azrael, his final plan was to have incapacitated God in the body of someone who's on life support, so that she couldn't ascend back to heaven.
Correct.
Right.
So
She's sort of stuck.
So you can do all this where the loophole that God is stuck.
And that's and which is obviously well handled by Kevin Smith, if I have to say it. Because everyone's obviously wondering, well, where's God? Why doesn't God just intervene? God's all knowing. Well, God is incapacitated because
on life support.
On life support because the hideous skee ball addiction.
Which goes to show you, we all have our demons in life.
We all
even
have
God.
our demons, even God. Evidently,
we lose 3 to 4 people a year to skee ball addiction. We need to start bringing this to the forefront. Dude. But this is where you do get the line Chadwick.
Like if you owe a bookie money.
This is the line Chadwick's talking about though. So shit's going down. It's like Jay. It's Bethany behind the car or whatever, and he's just like, she's like, oh my God, this is terrible. This is hopeless. And he's like, yep. And he's just pulling his pants off.
His pants down.
He's disrobing.
And she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
We have about 5 minutes left to live. The whole world's gonna end. You said you'd fuck me.
The unlikely scenario, and it's all over. The whole show is over with. Yeah. So in the middle of this whole scene, he suggests, listen.
Oh what? Nobody's gonna beat that thing. Now we can either lay here all comatose like that John Doe Jersey bastard over there. We can make him into love.
And Bethany realizes that's probably God being held hostage.
And it's right across the street. So she fucking books it.
That was convenient.
Yeah. She takes Silent Bob and they go.
It's a 2 hour and some change movie. They had to wrap it up quick, man.
Yeah, it's really long, strangely enough. So she runs to the hospital and pulls plug the life support. Thank God she was correct. That was God. Otherwise, she just murdered some random dude.
Well, I mean, in hindsight, it wouldn't have mattered.
Every weekend, I like to go to the hospital and pull the plug on somebody.
Yeah.
I don't have to know them or anything.
It's the only way I can come.
Yeah.
It might be God.
Originally, there was a scene in it that they filmed and they actually screened that had the Golgothan come back, and like that's how Bethany got hurt and everything like that.
Okay.
But they cut it out because everybody was just kind of tired of the shit.
I did wonder, I did wonder how did she get hurt? Like,
I think
just from the explosion of energy.
It's that, but I think he opens his mouth and speaks, right? Like, isn't there like a gasp or something? Like when it's leaving,
there's a gash.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that's the voice of God situation. But that
was also like a last minute rejiggering of everything.
Yeah.
So that
but anyway, she's dead now. She
she pulls the plug, releases God from the mortal coil that God was trapped in.
Right,
she just
fucking
bleeds
Bartleby's
out.
like a footstep away from being forgiven for his sin.
He's right. Yeah. So on the other side of the fight, Jay basically takes like the Mac 10 that that Azrael had and just shoots like he's trying to kill
wings off. Yeah.
He's trying to kill Ben Affleck's character Bartleby, and he instead shoots his wings off and helps him, making him mortal.
And as he's doing this, there's this really cool shot of Chris Rock. He's running, and it's like in slow motion.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just noticed that last night. It's a really cool. I don't know if it's the angle or just because it's slow motion. But like he's trying to stop him from shooting.
Yeah,
because
Salma Hayek too. Yeah, Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek is there. The Muse is there. Yeah, so they're all the cast is trying to like stop him from doing it. But he ends up helping Bartleby, and Bartleby now human, his wings gone, rushes towards the gate of the church, and right as he's about to enter in, he opens the doors, and God is standing in front of him, played by none other than
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette.
Which I would argue, and if Jagged Little Pill doesn't happen, then maybe not. But if it's 96, yeah.
All right, so she reached out to Kevin Smith, not to be in the movie, just because she was such a fan of Clerks. Because when they were on tour with Jagged Little Pill, that's what they watched on the bus and like went to sleep to every night.
Yeah.
So she was just a huge fan. So she reached out to Kevin, and he's like, "Well, I'm about to make this fucking movie, Dogma." And
you want to be God?
No. He offered her the part. He offered her the part of Bethany.
Oh.
And she's like, man, I think that's just too much. Like it's kind of overwhelming.
Good for her.
So she turned him down. Then she goes to India for a while. I don't know if it was like a tour or press or whatever
kind of nonsense.
But she comes back and like she got like real like spiritual, and then like
Christ.
So yeah, so she comes back and she contacts him again. She's like, "Hey, I'm sure that role that you offered me is already filled, whatever. But if there's anything." That I could have, I would love to do it because I should not like run away from challenges. I want to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, fucking Emma Thompson bailed out, so you could be God.
And she's like, I don't know. And then Slime was like,
yeah. From the movie theater?
No, she was
from you can't do that on television.
She was on
you can't do that on television.
Oh, I thought it was from going down on the guy in the theater. She got slimed.
That was after
different
that.
Slime.
Oh, cut it out.
When you think about like who you're gonna play God, you got to go either one of two ways. Like either you go, with the Morgan Freeman God, like the actual like believable God, in human form, or you go with Alanis Morissette, which is so ridiculously like out of character and nonsensical. And obviously that's what Kevin Smith went with. I thought it was funny,
but I thought it was good. And then you had Alan Rickman as the voice of God too there, so he can and again, like it's a good role for her because she doesn't have to do anything.
She has no speaking role.
And she still fucked it up.
I love like Alan Rickman. Like he's so disgusted with everything. Like,
dude.
Like, he got some blood on his shirt or whatever.
I know
He's like so pissed about
He's
it.
using God's garments to clean his fucking shirt.
he plays the same voiceover character in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's so funny. It's never not funny.
Dude,
Alan Rickman is a king.
Family Guy had a nice joke on him. That's like him calling his answer machine with jokes for a party later on that he's having that night. And I'll put the clip in, but he's just like, it's like, boop.
Hello, Alan Rickman. It's Alan Rickman. Reminding you to move the pork chops from the freezer to the refrigerator so they defrost properly.
Yeah. So Bartley. So Bartley's he's trying to go through the door. He opens it up, and the fucking light's there, and Alanis Morissette's standing there, and then Alan Rickman's like, "Who told you to cover up?"
Yeah.
I know it's a weird line for him to deliver, but God immediately judges Bartleby.
It's a good scene though too, because you see like the sorrow. You see the forgiveness. You see, like, all that stuff, and especially Affleck's face. He plays this really well, and then there goes.
Well, that's all he wanted was forgiveness and acceptance.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes down to it, he didn't want to like end humanity or existence or whatever.
Right.
He just wanted
the fuck out of Wisconsin. He's tired of that goddamn cheese.
He's willing to get his
lactose
head
intolerant on top of everything.
He's willing to get his pets' heads blown off just to like escape oblivion.
But,
right.
So this is when they do the whole voice of God thing. So Rufus and the Mewes cover up Jason Mewes, Jay's ears. And then they do the loud scream, and his head explodes like a fucking cartoon. And then,
which is, kind of preceded her third album.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I don't know how you follow up Jagged Little Pill. I'm just saying.
Nah, you got your masterpiece. You just retired.
Yeah, you should have retired. You should have tried to act. But anyway,
make me lose all goddamn respect for you.
His head blows up. And then you have the fucking J line here, like where he's just. This was my favorite line the first time I watched it.
What the fuck is this shit? Who the fuck are you, lady? Why the fuck did you hug my head?
Quite a little mouth on him, isn't there?
He's just increasingly getting madder and madder.
Yeah.
But shout out Jason Mewes. He's a pretty. I mean, I know it's playing him. But he does. You could see his acting get better with each film, and in this film, I thought he fucking nailed it.
All right, so
all the way through.
So he does.
All the movies before this one, he never memorized his lines. So, like Kevin Smith was always like giving him line reads and like having to walk him through it. And when they cast Alan Rickman, he's like, "Jay, you're going fucking. You got to learn your lines. Like." These are like professional actors, and they're not going to put up with this shit. So, like over the weekend, Jason, he memorized all the lines, and so he was like proving it to Kevin, and Kevin's like, "Damn, you memorized everything, all your lines?" He goes, "Dude, I memorized everybody's lines."
Oh shit!
So
turns out.
Yeah, he tested him on that too. So he was like, and he was doing dialogue between like Loki and Bartleby.
Holy shit!
Like he knew the whole movie because he was intimidated by Alan Rickman.
I bet, dude. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's fucking.
Which was funny too because Alan Rickman absolutely loved Jason Mewes.
Yeah,
like
but you never
Kevin
know.
Smith talks about like how he came out from like I don't know, he was editing or something, but he came out and he saw like. Rickman and Mewes like sitting at a table like in deep conversation or whatever.
Dude, that's awesome.
And he's like, "Oh my god, what can these guys be talking about?" and I don't know if it was just a shot at the United States, but Alan Rickman's like I love Jason like he's an American icon. He is everything that's America.
I respect that. I don't want to hear anything about somebody playing the same character. Jack Nicholson plays the same crazy asshole in every film he's ever been in, and Jay can play the same character too. And they're awesome, dude, because a good character is a good character, and they fit in multiple scenarios. So,
but Jay killed this, and I'm glad you have that.
Knee.
Yeah, I'm glad you have the background on that because that explains it. Because Jake fucking killed it in this. Jason Mewes did a great job. Like. thought it was great, man. So this is the end. Leaf, wrap us up.
So, yeah, absolutely. God obviously shows up, judges Bartleby, fixes everything, sort of cleans up the scenario there.
So I will stop you there, and this is the last time I'll interrupt you. He fixes everything, but apparently the cracked streets in Jersey, those are still not fixable by God's hand. Not the Department of Transportation, nor God himself or herself can fix the roads in Jersey. So.
Yes. The street's still trashed. At least God cleans up the blood and entrails.
The blood's gone, but there's not an out.
Killings.
There's a limit, okay?
Yeah, there's even God's powers, and so the blood and entrails are cleaned up from the angels' killing spree. And obviously, as we mentioned before, Bethany is dead. She bleeds out inexplicably. We've argued sort of our fan theories here.
Speaking of facials, speaking of facials, Kevin Smith here. Those tears in his eyes when he's walking her back was just kind of gut-wrenching.
Sad.
Yeah.
It was very sad. So she's dead, and Silent Bob is carrying her body and lays her before God, and God, heals and resurrects her. But not only that, as the film ends, God, Rufus, and Metatron, and the Muse are all returning to heaven through the gates of the church. And we found out Bethany is pregnant, so she's no longer the last Scion. So she's healed from all of her trauma.
Have 9 months of no blood.
I get. Also, word on the street is women can have sex up to the 3rd trimester. So thanks
Jay. So the end. But so to wrap this one up, man, because I knew we'd go along in this, but we're just such big Kevin Smith fans. Love this movie, and it's great that it's coming back out again. So there's going to be a resurgence of this where people are going to probably be seeing it for the first time that haven't been able to see it. People that hadn't seen it in years can now enjoy it again. So, dude, go out, find it. I think Gibb said it's on YouTube.
I think June 4th. I believe it's June 4th. They're going to be showing it in the theaters.
Yeah, which I definitely want to go.
I think he said June 5th, but I haven't.
It's that Thursday, I think.
Yeah, first week of June.
Let's do it, guys.
Yeah, I want to go for sure.
I'm gonna be in Illinois.
But go watch this.
That's really close to Wisconsin.
Close to Sherman, Illinois.
So just Sherman, Illinois.
There is no Sherman, Illinois,
dude. If
movies are fucking bullshit,
dude. If you had to pick, there's a lot of them in this. So the one quote that we're gonna start doing, the quote that left me after I watched it this last time, the quote that stuck with me was, "I'm a fucking demon," and it was just stuck in my head. Yeah. I don't know why, but
Jason Lee says it, and then Salma Hayek does it
as him
in Jason Lee's voice.
Leaf,
that's a good one.
You had one line that stuck with you after this. What was it?
Man, I'm sorry, guys. It's a throwaway line. It's Jason Mewes after he steals the Cardinals club, and he pulls it out. He's like, "Yeah, but we still got this." And he pulls that club. He goes, "What up?" And he has he's got the club from the Cardinal that he stole just because he wouldn't do what they wanted to do, so they rob him. That makes me laugh every time, dude.
What up? Yeah, that's a good one. Chadwick?
Mine's all the way back at the first at the airport, and I've said this a bunch of times, and nobody ever fucking gets what I'm saying. But anytime I feel like I'm wasting my time, I'm like, is this why I had to come down here? Is this why I'm missing my fucking cartoons?
Classic. Gibbs, man, bring us home with yours.
Gears.
And with that, guys, we'll go ahead and take it over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
This week at the O.J. Simpson trial, the infamous bloody glove was finally introduced into evidence, and O.J. didn't help his case any by blurting out, "There it is, I've been looking all over for that thing."
Chase